Welcome to my channel. We're gonna take your bland midday shots and make them award-winning. Black and white is all about contrast, tones, lighting, and it removes some of the distractions that we see, especially with these midday shots. See how much drama there is in this image? It's amazing. Now, be sure to stay to the end if you're into wildlife photography, because this is not just for landscape photographers only. I shoot a lot of wildlife in the middle of the day, and so the scenes are always just kind of like, are these throwaway images? Are they any good? They are good. I'm gonna show you how to make them amazing. I've also got details about a photography competition of up to $8,000 of cash prizes, so stay tuned for that. There's so much to share, so let's get started. If you are new to this channel, my name is Shannon, and I am a full-time photographer in beautiful British Columbia. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply enjoy some stunning visuals, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. If you've been following my New Zealand adventures, I have 2 episodes out. One of them I did where we seen Mount Cook. It's this view right here. And then the second episode, I did a lot more black and white images. So if you wanted to see how I got these in the field, check out those episodes. The thumbnail looks like this. But these are what we're going to start with today. It's like midday, and it's fairly bland, these images. Histogram looks pretty good. We'll start with this one right here. Once you get an image, the first thing you want to do under edits and then under basics is actually to click on black and white here. This is going to switch everything over into black and white to be supportive, including the color channels. So if we go down to blue here, we have some blue in the sky. We can actually really crush that color, and we can push other ones. Like I know that the grass is more of a gold and yellow, and we can bring those up. Here's the orange. Take a look at that. So there's so much manipulation that we can do here. Okay, the next thing is I like using linear or radial gradients. So linear gradients, I might take the sky over here and darken it from one side and have some contrast with light. So our light source is going to be over here on the right. So I'm going to do a radial gradient, brightening that section. And then I'm going to contrast it with some darkness, some shadows on the backside of Mount Cook here. So here we go. We were going to bring down the exposure, shadows. But I always kind of want to bring either the highlights or the whites up. So I don't want to darken things that shouldn't be darkened. So the clouds that are really high up in the sky here, you want to make it look natural. So we'll do that for now. We'll go down to radial gradient, and I'll put that in there. And I'm just going to brighten up the exposure, maybe the shadows. Now, the one thing that I love for sunlight is what it can do in the atmosphere. And you'll notice the atmosphere isn't crisp and clear like it is in the early morning. And so if I go down to dehaze and I actually add some haze to it, you can help sort of create this atmosphere that comes with the warm sunlight. And I can even stretch it out so it hits the land over here a tiny bit. That looks really nice. So if we go back to our linear gradient here, I might want to see what it does coming in a little bit. It's pretty good. Now the ground over here where the road is going through the scene, I'm going to brighten that up, and that looks really good. So already there's a lot that has taken shape here. Now the dark sides of the mountains, I want to make those pop a little bit, adding some contrast. A lot of times I'll just hit the plus icon here and a brush, and I will load up my brush with bringing the shadows down, the contrast up. I'll still keep those highlights up. Now if we go back into color, you can see that it just doesn't look right. The color is a distraction, whereas in black and white, all of a sudden you can focus on the shapes, the texture, the contrast without being distracted by the color. Okay, next image, We got this one right here where we're going to hit black and white. Boom. We'll go down into our blues, and you can see that it really affects the foreground of trees. If we do it on the other image here too, where I'm lower to the ground and it's a wider landscape, and I go back up to black and white, and I move down the blues, you can see it really starts affecting the trees here at the base of the mountain. And I don't really want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a linear gradient. And I'm going to bring down the exposure, up the contrast, down the shadows, bring up those whites and those highlights, and then bring down the blacks. So I really like the way it looks in the clouds, but it's affecting the mountain. So what I can do is I can go up into this layer mask and I can subtract from the mask something, which in this case it's going to be the mountains. So I could select the subject, which they might not know what the subject is. So the best option right here is to select objects. So this will give me a little brush here. And what I can do is I can just paint over what other object I want removed from this selection that I've got going on, this linear gradient. So just like that, it should process the mountains perfectly. And it does an incredible job. Now that we have this subtracted, it looks a little out of place. So we can go back into adding a little bit of that linear gradient, some of those darks and shadows by hitting the plus icon. And I'm going to hit brush here. So all we're doing is we're brushing in a little bit of that linear gradient back into the scene. Okay, I want to do another linear gradient for the foreground, and I want to bring my eyes into the scene. So I'm going to darken that. Now the whole scene is a little dark here, especially the foreground. So I am going to do some global adjustments just to see how it looks. Looks pretty good. Okay, now I want to do another adjustment layer. This one's going to be a radial gradient. And this is going to be for my sun. And we're going to bring in the shadows, less contrast, more highlights, or haze is what I like to say. There we go. There we go. That brings a lot of atmosphere to it. Now I'm going to add another linear gradient just to sort of darken this side. There. So we have a little bit of the contrast of sunlight to shadow. You want to be very slight with a lot of this. Even the sun here might be a bit too much, so you kind of have to play around with these sliders here to make it look a little bit natural. Now the sky has got so much going on in it that I'm going to hit the plus icon and brush, and I'm actually going to bring down the shadows, the blacks, and I'm just going to brush in these lines here. Just love the way they're pointing to this mountain in this way. Now these techniques might be so wowsy to you that you might want to enter them into a photography competition where you can win things. And that brings me into the sponsor of today's video, which is Wilder and their competition. This is their 5th year and it's something you're not going to want to miss. There's over $8,000 in prizes and a $2,000 grand prize. $500 first place category winner. The categories that you can submit for are portrait, animalscapes, abstract, macro, behavior, and there is a new photographers category. Now what makes this competition unique is that it will be judged live on YouTube. Now during the competition they have a popular vote, so if you're watching you can go ahead and give your vote as to who should win. Submissions open August 15th at 9 a.m. PST time. So you'll want to submit your photos over the next month, closing on September 13th. And then the finalists will be judged live on YouTube in front of all of you. Now, I was a judge last year and the year before. I'm taking a break this year because of family things. It is a lot of fun, a lot of amazing images to see, get inspired, and if you have what it takes, submit your own work. I'll have a link down below if you want to check out all the details on how to enter. Thank you so much, Wilder, for sponsoring this week's video. Now let's get on to wildlife and creating stunning black and white images for you to submit in this competition. I've got some examples here where images were taken in the middle of the day. Here we have brown bears going out into the mudflats to dig for razor clams. This looks pretty washed out during the midday sun, but in black and white, you now have a lot to work with, especially when we're dealing with color channels. So the blues we can really darken. There's some aqua here. The yellows on the back of the brown bear, we can create a rim lighting. Now, there's other shots where in color, it's a beautiful scene. Like this photo right here that I absolutely love. The brown bear, beautiful color, the grass. And then we have some of these purples, magenta, that's on these grass seeds that are poking up. So we can use this to our benefit in black and white. I love it in color, but in black and white, I'm going to show you what it is that we can do manipulating these colors. Here's another image right here where, again, color, absolutely love, but in black and white, we can really focus on some of the details of this brown bear. And you'll notice in color, we've got a lot of like purples in the fur here. So if I go into black and white and go down into purple, see how it shifts? Then we even have some reds. The blues we can already change here, just reflection of the nose, and look at the eyes here too. We can make the whites really stand out, you know, the window to the soul. And this is the technique that I think you need to be thinking about in some of your photography. So this beautiful scene, love it in color, but in black and white, we can go down to our purples here, and I can manipulate some of the colors there. Here's some blues on the nose, some greens, some yellows, orange. So do we want this a bit more of a darker brown bear or have it stand out? I want it to stand out from the background. Now, I would add to this by doing a linear gradient to bring the eyes up, darken that foreground, bring the exposure down, contrast up, shadows down, blacks down. Boom, that looks really good. And I might want to darken the back of the bear here too. That looks good. But of course, with the linear gradient, it's over top of the bear right now. So I need to subtract our subject. Here, I could probably click subject and there you go. I'm pretty confident that I would have removed it. And then now we need to actually go back to our global adjustments and maybe bring up the whole entire image a tiny bit. There we go. Even that looks really, really good. Now there's a lot more work that we can do on this image, but I think the techniques you can understand where I'm going at with this. Now I could play with the whole sunlight brightness coming into the scene and darkening the other side by adding a linear gradient here. Just because the position of this bear might be kind of nice to show a bit of a light source. Go down to our dehaze. Now let's subtract the bear, the subject, again. And then I'm going to add a linear gradient behind the bear here. Yeah, and just darken that. Add some contrast, bring up the highlights because I don't want it to darken all the blades of grass. And here now we have a bit of contrast between the warm summer light that the bear is facing towards and some of that dark shadow. Now I do love the contrast between the warm bear and the cold ocean here and the sky. But this might be great in black and white, and this can create more of a minimalistic shot, a more fine art image. And with the blues, if we have some distraction with the blues here, well, I can actually remove those completely by bringing the blues right up. And now we have this beautiful portrait. So let me know, have you used these techniques? Are they new to you? Are you a black and white photographer? Put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear more. Now, part of these images work because of the steps that I did out in the field. And if you're someone who wants to follow me on my adventures, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Ciao.